There are dramas Hollywood never dared to film. Whispers buried beneath applause. Stories that live between the spotlight and the shadows. This is one of them. For decades, America knew Carroll O'Connor as Archie Bunker, the loud, stubborn, lovable face of All in the Family. He was the man who made the nation laugh, made it angry, made it think. But behind that gravel voice and that working-class grin, there was another story, a secret story. One of affection, unspoken, of a woman who wasn't written in the script, yet somehow lived in every scene he played. Tonight, we reveal the secret that Hollywood never dared to tell. The hidden love that shaped a man, haunted his fame, and changed television forever. This is the untold affair of Carroll O'Connor. Before he was America's favorite bigot, Carroll O'Connor was a quiet intellectual. A writer. A dreamer. A man who studied literature at the University of Montana and believed in the power of stories to heal a divided world. But when All in the Family began in 1971, something happened that no script could prepare him for. He became Archie Bunker, a man he didn't recognize. Archie was rude, angry, defensive, a relic of old America. Yet O'Connor turned that roughness into something human, something heartbreakingly real. Off camera, he was the opposite, thoughtful, liberal, gentle. But as Archie's fame grew, so did the distance between who he was and who the world believed him to be. And somewhere between the lights and the laughter, another kind of confusion began. Because love, like truth, has a way of slipping through the cracks. Her name was Jean Stapleton. To the world, she was Edith, the soft-spoken, faithful wife who balanced Archie's fire with her tenderness. But to Carroll, she was something else. It started simple. Respect. Then admiration. Then something more, something neither of them would ever name. The crew noticed first. How his eyes softened when she entered the room. How the rehearsals always seemed to run a little longer when the two were alone. One night, after a late shoot, a grip reportedly overheard Carroll say quietly, "She makes Archie real. Without her, I'm just noise." By the mid-70s, whispers spread through CBS like wildfire. Articles hinted at a special connection between the show's leads, but no one dared call it what it was. Jean was married. Carroll was married. And Hollywood, even in the 1970s, had no mercy for quiet hearts. Rumor became myth. Myth became silence. And silence became part of the performance. Every episode carried their secret. In the way Archie yelled but softened when Edith looked his way. In the way Edith smiled even when her voice trembled. The writers thought it was acting, but the emotion ran deeper. O'Connor once told an interviewer, Archie loved Edith because Carroll loved what she represented, grace in a world that didn't deserve it. Behind the laughter, his feelings grew heavier, impossible, forbidden, and yet undeniable. He began rewriting scenes, adjusting lines to give Archie flashes of vulnerability. He wanted the audience to feel what he couldn't say. Each, "I love you, Edith," carried something raw, a trace of the man behind the character, whispering through fiction what he could never admit in life. They called it the whispered affair. No evidence. No confession. Only the ache that made All in the Family too human to be just a comedy. By 1978, success had turned to solitude. Jean remained graceful, distant, protective of the boundary neither of them could cross. Carroll, meanwhile, retreated into himself. He stopped smiling between takes, Crew members recalled nights he stayed alone on set, chain-smoking under the same lights that once made him laugh. Sometimes, they'd hear him reciting Archie's lines to the empty stage, only this time, the anger sounded like heartbreak. When a journalist asked if the rumors about him and Jean were true, he only said, "I think some things are better lived than told." After the show ended, he admitted in a rare interview, "Archie loved Edith because I understood what it means to love and lose without ever saying it." For him, that wasn't just a line, it was a confession. A quiet truth hiding inside a man America thought it already knew. When Jean left the show, the world mourned a character, but Carroll mourned a heartbeat. Without her, Archie's world, and Carroll's, fell silent. He tried new roles, new projects, but the laughter never reached him the same way again. He once said to a close friend, "I could make the world laugh, but the world could never make me feel the way she did." Years later, when Jean passed away, the press remembered their chemistry. Fans called it acting. But those who knew Carroll O'Connor understood. What the audience saw was love, disguised as performance, sealed by silence. He carried that silence to the end of his life. When he died in 2001, a letter was found among his papers, unsigned, unaddressed. It read only, "Thank you for teaching me kindness. You were the part of me the world never saw." Maybe it was meant for Jean. Maybe for Archie's Edith. Or maybe for the love story he never got to live. In the end, Carroll O'Connor's greatest performance wasn't Archie Bunker. It was the act of loving someone in silence, across years, across screens, across worlds. He taught America to laugh at itself, while hiding a heartbreak it would never understand. And that's why All in the Family still feels real, because beneath the jokes and the shouting was a man quietly whispering, "I loved you." It wasn't scandal. It wasn't sin. It was humanity, raw, imperfect, beautiful. Hollywood never told this story. But the truth was there all along, in every smile that lasted too long, in every pause before cut, in every sigh that wasn't in the script. And that's what makes this story endure, because behind every icon, behind every line of dialogue, there's always a heartbeat that history tried to forget. Next, on Remember This History, a woman who made the world laugh and died asking for silence, the untold heartbreak of Lucille Ball.